Yo, yo, hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Just gonna kind of hang out tonight for a little while. It's late for to give a little check up on the Iran stuff and maybe check some YouTube, maybe see what's going on X, and just kind of hang out with y'all for a little while. So let me know what y'all think. Let's see what we can get into tonight. Let's see what Myron and I'm talking about. I don't know about y'all, but Myron's going. Myron's going full. Everything is Israel. Everything. Oh, was it Saturday night? We're not gonna do another girls' night till Monday. It's crazy what's going on in Iran though. Just hoping that we can get it done quick and get it over with, and we ain't got to go out there in it. You know what I mean? That's like nuts. I don't think Israel's getting that fucked up. Whether it be let's see what's going on. So it looks like the U.S. response is about to happen, or is happening right now. That's Iraq, Syria. There's definitely nothing flying, that's for sure. What is that? Uh-uh. Well, you can't be flying over here. Look at the bomb and stuff going off back here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There it is. My bad. Yeah, I'll put it on the full screen for y'all. Well, I mean, yeah. But it ain't even going on a full day yet. I mean, breaking news. Breaking news. Alright, let's go. This is the breaking news right here. Mm-hmm. Was that Sindaha? I don't know what that said. Don't look like a lot's going on right this second. Yeah, why would you storm the U.S. Embassy? It don't make a lot of sense. What? Uh-oh, here they come. What we got going on? Hundreds of protesters? Huh? Yeah. Hundreds of protesters. Hey, look, they beat on poles and shit too. Over there. Just like the libs over here. God dang, what are they doing? It's wild. They burning a trash can or something? Oh, yeah, they do. I'm sure all of the embassies are evacuated. Yeah, I mean, but it don't really matter. What? Oh, man, don't tell me I read the audio off the whole time.
I don't know why they're banging on stuff, but
Damn, I'm sorry. Ain't that a bitch?
oh, no problem. Thank you, MJM. Thank you for being up with me. Thank you for the support.
Let's see what's going on with X. Let's see if we can find something good. Oh, this is the mall. Getting through that. That's a tough glass.
अमेरिकी कौंसल खाने को आग लगा दिया है। अमेरिकी कौंसल खाने कराची को आग लगा दिया है। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह रहबर पर हमले का बदला लिया जा रहा है।
Well, this gathering has only grown, Jessica, over the past few hours, since we've gotten here. It has amassed a large number of people, and the celebration is striking. We got here just moments after initial reports, initial rumors of the death of Ayatollah Khamenei had just started to trickle from Iran to this diaspora community, and people were jumping in excitement, hugging each other, crying, saying that basically they've been waiting 47 years for this very day, Jessica. It is the reason so many of them have come out here today. I want you to hear from one of them specifically, his thoughts right after learning that the supreme leader of Iran was dead.
When is the last time you saw people in Israel and Iran dancing on the streets in excitement? And when is the last time you've ever heard of a country coming out and dancing because they're excited that foreign powers are attacking them?
Now, the name of Reza Pahlavi has been at the tip of people's tongues here, Jessica. So these are very much people who are pro-Shah. They want to see a leadership emerge from Reza Pahlavi. They're
And I told you this at least 15 years ago, and then I talked to other Pentagon sources, and they said, yeah, that's true, and you shouldn't know that. But they have cars, vans, taxi cabs, you name it, that the West has in Iran that drive around that have sensors on them that scoop up the air, and then they send it back and have it tested. And 15, 16 years ago, they were driving around the enrichment centers. So they stick them out in the middle of nowhere trying to keep away from that, but they can also follow vehicles that are transporting it. And they picked up heavily enriched uranium from the centrifuges. So when you hear Israel saying for 20 years, oh, they're 2 weeks from a nuke, that's because they have been. Now, just because that's true doesn't mean Israel has a right to strike them. We're going to attack North Korea because they have nukes? I want to be clear. Iran is trying to get a weapons program. They refuse the peaceful program and the free fuel to build power reactors. They don't need reactors. They are full of oil and gas. So it is true that they've been pursuing a nuclear program. I don't believe you have a right to attack them just because of that. Can Iran attack Israel because they've got nukes? It's just a fact. Now, here's the headline, and this is officially on the Iranian news channels. Iran needs only 1 week to conduct a nuclear test, says member of Iranian Security Committee, their Security Council, and a high-level member of parliament. So I predicted all last week, you saw it on the show, I said it yesterday, that Iran may announce, oh, we have the nuke. people said, oh, well, years ago they passed it.
Trump. What is this? Iraq and in Lebanon is under attack. Stupid ass fucking people. What's this? See if we can watch it.
Of a broader peace. When history is within reach.
So what Israel is fighting here is not merely a seven-front war, but an eight-front war.
It's called the Jews against Rome.
Rome and Jerusalem clashed over
Not watching this shit. I heard enough Israel shit as it is. Go at YouTube.
The Texas Military Department announced today that they are activating service members across the state to help protect citizens and critical infrastructure from any potential retaliation threats. That's part of what people are talking about.
They need to. That's why everybody likes Texas, because they keep their people safe, you know. They definitely keep their people safe. Let's see. What else do we got? Let's see. I don't want to watch some of that. Let's go back to live. See what Rad's talking about.
Here's one of my guys. He says Osman Gold's main points are that Iran's leadership was funding terrorist groups and that they shouldn't have nukes. Martin Gaines X. Yeah, well, here's the thing, bro. They were only enriching uranium to operate at a threshold state to basically use that as a negotiation tool. Okay? That's what it was. And they were part of the JCPOA. So for a very long time, they didn't have nukes, bro. So that's one thing. And then as far as like them funding terrorist groups, these groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, etc. You guys want to know who created these groups? Israel. Like, bro, yo, see, this is what I'm talking about when I say niggas are retarded. Bro, you know what? Fuck this shit. You got. Let's go through this right now, because now that I actually got this shit figured out, or whatever. But I'm even gonna get you involved in this shit, Riyadh, so you can hear this shit.
Yo, maybe I should hop off of YouTube.
No, I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm just gonna show shit. Yeah, I know you're on YouTube. I'm sensitive to that. Don't worry. Hold on, bro. This is like, because this shit is really starting to piss me off. I'm gonna show you guys what the fuck I'm talking about, bro.
Every single time, every single crime, every single lie, early lie, every single hour, every single
right.
day, every single night, early lie.
Oh, now my inner is being whack? Okay.
To believe it's the whole forest, not one tree, and it's every branch and leaf. They're born to deceive, but I'm telling you the truth. It's not just one or
Shit's being slow. Let me close some of this.
single Jew. They all hate
Right?
and it really breaks my heart, but their lies are off the charts, and they only bring us harm. You gotta get smart. So if you want to be safe and don't want to get replaced, it's best you start being based, or you'll get erased. Every single time, every single crime, every single lie, early life, every single hour, every single day, every single night, early life.
Guess that's what I'm gonna
Right? So look. So when you do the homework and you figure out what the fuck is going on, you figure out why these organizations were labeled to be terrorist organization. Guys, Hezbollah was created because of Israel. because they were trying to occupy southern Lebanon. It was a resistance towards Israeli occupation. Hamas, same exact thing, created out of Israeli occupation. Okay? So basically, you come in, you occupy people, you kill those people, you take their land, they resist. You are like, oh shit, we need more resources to fight these niggas. You tell the United States, designate them as a terrorist organization so that we can go ahead and, be able to impose sanctions on them, fuck them up, blah, blah, blah. And that's what ended up happening. And then when you look at the person who designated them, like, bro, it's like literally, what is she? It's right here, right? We know what it is, her ancestry. She was under the Clinton administration. And then the Secretary of State is the one that designates them as a terrorist organization. And guess what they did? When we're in the JCPOA, bro, we keep cooking some more.
I know it's hard to accept that all the ones you've met lie with every single breath. They want you dead, but you must not be weak. Just open your eyes and see they always exploit the meek. See their venom party, and it can make you cry to learn your life was full of lies and their face was a disguise. But you must fight. So if you want to live and protect all of your kin, you have to grow thick.
Stuff over and over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. Let's see. Oh shit. Alright, here we go. Let's see. What's that? See if we can find something to watch to react to. See what this is. I don't hear the sirens going off. Pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. Emergency broadcast. What is this? Los Angeles? It always looks like that though. What in the world? All these people get on the What's really going on? Jump with the You okay? No, he's not.
Is people talk about how much energy it takes to train an AI model relative to how much it costs a human to do.
What are you gonna do after he's dead? Let's see if we can get any red pill content. Or is it all Iran right now? They're celebrating everywhere though. Well, it looks like. Yeah, we celebrate everywhere. Oh, there ain't a whole lot going on, is there? Not a whole lot going on. Let's see. I don't know why it keeps putting us up here. I know what we could do. Yeah, I know what we could do. Could watch some of this. Let's watch some of this. This neocon. She's supposed to be conservative.
And if
She's not a conservative. That's for sure.
Actually, quite a few. I got introduced to it the 1970s. No.
okay, but you're so when you say you're traditional, I guess in what ways?
Well, I don't associate really with any religion. I think there's great parts of each one, but I don't subscribe to any of that specific dogma. I guess a lot of it is just based in naturalism as well, and just kind of the natural order of life and
What's
of living.
the natural order in terms of dating between men and women?
Well, naturally speaking, men would be the provider in the relationship, and women have the element of being the nurturer. You know, I am
Are the
family.
men the leaders?
In some regards, too.
What
but
do you mean in some regards? In all regards?
No, not in all regards.
So, from your perspective, should women be submissive in a relationship?
No, I don't think women need to be submissive in a
So why should
relationship.
men lead?
Because we each have different strengths and qualities, and that really depends on from person to person.
So lead you when you're in the mood to be led, and you have permanent veto power in all decisions.
I think
No.
situations.
Well,
mentally.
I'm exploring her worldview.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that in like the end all be all case. I think each individual person has things that they're good at. For example, in my last relationship, he was, you know, he knew everything about finances and everything like that, and I deferred to him a lot in that realm.
So you're more social.
Forced. What are you talking about?
Maybe the word you wanted was pressured.
Yeah, pressured, but I mean, there are instances of people being like more forced into it,
like manipulated.
Yeah, like really manipulated. I had a friend.
Or in an ultimatum.
Yeah, and an ultimatum. So ultimately, I mean, everybody has autonomy and they can decide, but there's a manipulative aspect to that. I think men that can be great leaders, but women have the areas that they can.
But none
lead
of
as
that's
well.
force.
Outside of sexual like stuff, obviously, do you think it's okay for men to pressure, coerce you into a certain thing if it is for your own good? Like,
Yeah. If it's in your best interest in mind, then I think
what
that
if you
makes
don't
sense.
think personally it's in your best interest because you don't know it yet?
I mean, it depends on the thing. You can always experiment, and I don't think you should be so like a die hard on that department.
Are we officially on the topic of, you know, what is the role of men and women in relationships and who should be more submissive or dominant or what?
Yeah.
You let us know, Brian.
I mean, it's
to know whether to chime in or not. On
Well,
that.
in your ideal relationship, like you, not even yours, but just generally the ideal relationship, do you believe that a woman should be submissive?
Could not have done it.
For whatever reason, I don't think submissive is necessarily the right word. I think we defer to each other in different ways. You know, for example, if you're a mother with a young child, right, and ideally you wouldn't be doing sleep training, you'd be with the child all the time, you'd be breastfeeding, and you'd have that experience with the child, you'd probably have a better idea of what that child needs in those early development years than the father might have if he's gone at work. And that's not to say that the father isn't in touch with his child. It doesn't mean he doesn't love his child, but our different experiences will create a different environment in which we're able to.
So what's your definition? Because we might be missing definitions on submissive. Like, what do you think I mean when I say submissive?
Yeah, I guess for me, I come from a Catholic background, so I grew up Catholic, and always kind of that association of submissive is just saying like yes to everything, being like, okay, fine. So that's just kind of what I've come to associate it with, because that's how I've seen submissive be played out.
I think, don't you think like being submissive, you would be more prone to do that to somebody that you trust rather than someone you just met? And that isn't that the point of the breastfeeding and the getting to know somebody?
I mean, that's a very fair point. I think with all of that, women have to have a lot of discernment when they get into a relationship. You really got to know. And if you can get in a position where you're with a man who does love you and who does have your best intentions at mind, then that's a situation you can be submissive. But the reason why I have such a differentiation with that is because I think a lot of women kind of lack that discernment, and they lack getting in these situations and in these relationships with men who really do have their best interest at heart. That does exist, and that is possible.
I have a completely different.
Excuse me, continue.
I have a completely different idea of why things are so messed up in relationships nowadays, and I think it's because we are living in times that have never existed before between men and women. I'd say up until the 1970s, women weren't really equal to men when it comes to being financially independent. Up until the 1970s. By the way, I'm very conservative, so I'm just pointing out the facts. And the reason I'm even on this.
Let me listen.
The reason I'm even on the show is because I think that we need to fix relationships between men and women so that we have more nuclear families. And so I want to speak the truth to help both sides, men and women, get along a lot better.
And I'd like to.
So, yeah.
Can I just add to that? Is that I agree with it's just the technological era. I think for me, my opinion on what you're saying is that I just think like we have an impatience in society.
That's more recent.
When a man. Yes, because we're in the modern now.
Yeah, but I'm going back to the 1970s.
Oh,
so let me go back a little bit more.
You're
where
just talking about,
women and men,
credit cards and banks.
Exactly. And so just the millennial generation of women is the first generation that can be financially independent without the need of a man. So the millennial woman can technically afford life for herself.
Do you think that's a good
It's the
thing?
biggest crock of shit I've
And
ever heard.
so, well, we could disagree, and that's why we're here, right?
Yeah, so when we're talking about
women don't need men financially, therefore they want them for different reasons,
Do you think
emotional
that's-
reasons,
do you think
and
that's a good
emotional
thing?
intelligence.
The thing is when you're talking about women not being able to get credit cards, women couldn't incur debt.
Mhm.
They weren't allowed to incur debt.
Yeah.
So who incurs the most amount of debt in modernity?
Okay.
Who? Men or
Well,
women?
women in the United States,
Yeah.
correct.
So the thing is like that doesn't seem like that's financial independence. It seems like that's financial slavery to me.
Well, they
and,
owe
and
things
not
to
only
the
that,
banks.
most of the time that they end up with houses, they own more houses than men. They usually get them in divorces, not because they bought them straight out. And the idea here, women could get bank accounts. Actually, it's just if they were married, they didn't, and it went through the husband because the husband was responsible for all the debt. The women could not incur debt. They could still spend the money, but they
Yeah.
couldn't incur the debt.
Yeah, but they also couldn't take out a loan or have a
They
credit
could take
card.
out loans. They just couldn't take out loans if they
Fine.
were married. Their husband took out the loan because they
Correct.
couldn't incur the debt.
So
That was a good thing.
So there wasn't financial independence, is what I'm trying to say.
There
And
was
that's why-
financial independence.
And that's why nowadays.
No, if you're married, why would you want? Okay, let's.
He's literally saying that as long as you weren't married, you could have bank accounts, you could take out loans, you could buy houses, you could have a job, you could do anything you wanted to do. But when you became married, because it's a union, it's all one, and then the husband takes on the responsibility of the debt. So stupid.
Let's back up. Why would you need financial independence if you're married?
Because when people,
that's
have been, when
counterintuitive.
people have historically been in positions of power over other people, people abuse that power. When you have any kind of relationship in history
This
where
is
there's
femcon stuff. Okay.
no, I'm actually extremely conservative, and
That's-
because of
feminist conservative femcon.
no, because of the fact that men back in the day, again, weren't able to, or women back in the day were not able to be financially independent. They were in a position where they
Why-
couldn't be their individual selves.
Right this second, right now, as we speak, if you're married, can your wife go into your account and take your money?
Not every relationship
Hang
is
on,
like
let her
that.
answer.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't understand.
And vice versa as
I don't
well.
under- so what do you need independence for?
So you can be your own individual person.
You're still your own individual person.
No, if you don't have any financial independence.
If I had to rely on my man's
Hang
money,
on.
I would feel
Let us finish. Let us finish the engagement.
Yeah.
Right. Do
Correct.
you really want me to like try to argue with 5 people at once?
We're not arguing. It's a discussion.
Okay. It sounds like it. So
Sorry that
anyway,
you're taking it that way.
Anyway, so you're married. You have a husband. You need financial independence from your husband.
I think every person should.
Now,
need
hang on.
to-
My
Let me answer. You just asked me a
I want to
question.
make sure that
Wait,
you say
asked me
yes
a
or no,
question?
and then the qualifier.
Are you asking me a
Yeah,
question?
but
or letting me
I need you to answer yes or no, then the qualifier.
No, it's a full
'Cause
answer, right?
Okay, fine. You're not going to answer.
Thank
but go
you
ahead.
so much.
You won't
so
actually answer
yes, I still think that people are individuals, regardless of whether they are in a partnership with somebody else or not. And that's why more women are refusing to be married. And I think the number one proof that women weren't happy or satisfied back in the day when they supposedly didn't have to work is that when they were offered the opportunity to join the workforce, they did, right? They did, and they became more financially independent. They joined careers, they got degrees, and so I want it
It's
to
completely
be.
ahistorical. Here's
No.
what actually happened.
Are you telling me I'm saying that? Are you saying that I'm lying?
Was she? Can we get a
Turn
timer
the butter.
on it?
Still making Turn the butter,
Right,
ladies.
a timer on it.
Just because you're married doesn't mean your man has all your best interests and your desires at the forefront of his
That's why you're
heart.
supposed to marry.
They should have your
Is
best
that
interests.
guy.
Well, they
Anyway.
don't. They should. That'd be nice.
Hang on, calm down.
That'd be nice in a
This is-
fantasy world.
Let him make his point, ladies. Let him make his point, ladies.
The whole thing is ahistorical anyway. The reason that women had to enter the workforce because you couldn't afford anymore to have one income. Most women prefer not to work. Most married women prefer not to work. Most women, when asked, say that they would prefer, if they've been in the workforce, to be out of the workforce. Why? Because most men would prefer to be out of the. It wouldn't it be nice if I could just sit at home all day and do nothing? That sounds fantastic. But here's the thing. Hang on. Let me finish.
Let me finish his point of view.
So the other thing is all you're advocating is that wives need to have financial independence from their husbands.
Correct.
Why?
So that they
Because
can
we're our own
always
people.
Yes,
So
and,
she
and
can
this
have
basic
her
case we need to leave
own
on.
money.
How is this a conservative position?
And this basic concept that we as conservative women are trying to get men, conservative
Personal
men
rights.
like you, to understand is the reason that there is this complete ideological divide where even conservative women are not getting married.
What is the difference between this position and the liberal
Don't
position?
blanket that with
And so,
conservative
and you just
women.
said one sentence that is extremely important,
Yeah.
which is women, they're just going to stay at home and do nothing if they're married. And the fact that you don't understand the intrinsic value of being a homemaker and a wife, that is the reason why there is this problem, right? Just
Oh.
because women have
I
worked
see.
but not have been paid for the work that they do as a homemaker, as a full-time child taker.
This is a
child
feminist
caretaker, right?
position.
No, this is not. This is
unpaid labor at home. It's a feminist position.
Yeah, guys.
It is the ultimate feminist
It is a
position. Women are
capitalist-
getting unpaid labor at home,
No, it is a
taking care of their children.
Guys,
it
why
is an,
did
it is an intelligent capitalist position.
How is
So-
that in a capitalist position?
So a smart woman is going to consider, hey, am I going to get into a relationship with a man that expects me to cook and clean for?
So I think that everybody, when they were watching this, I think they like didn't understand what she's saying. Which I mean, I don't is stupid either way, but they thought that when she breaks it down, because she says it's 200,000, when she breaks it down, everybody thought that she was talking about it was $200,000 to raise a kid. But I think what she was saying is it's that the woman should be, if she were to be paid like a job on like a yearly salary, the yearly salary would be $200,000, which is outrageous amount of money. But then that also means that you might as well just be a nanny at that point and go take care of somebody else's kids and get paid for it. If you're going to get paid to take care of your kids, I mean, that'd be like your husband paying you a yearly salary to take care of both of your kids. So you're not working, he's working, and then instead of both of you working and you paying for an au pair or a nanny or daycare or whatever the case may be, then you have two incomes. Instead there's one income, and you're going to pay your wife $200,000 a year, in which you can't touch that money. In her way of looking at it, her view, you can't be able to touch that money, and it's not contributed back to the house. So it's just a dumb view all the way around.
Us and for our kids in the
Which is
day.
work. How hard is it to cook and clean now?
The best example,
As a wife.
the best example I can put is, let's say that you have a child that is yours biologically, dropped at your doorstep one day. The mother's nowhere to be found. You now have to take care of this child. How do you take care of that child if not by paying somebody to cook for it, to feed it, to look for it right around the clock?
If you had
So
to work, you
caretaker. So you would have to.
Well, hang on. The
You would have to
qualifier.
stay going to
Hang on,
work.
the qualifier is if you weren't independently wealthy, right? If you were working.
If you're in your current position right now, how much do you think you would have to shell out to maintain that child that is biologically yours and just got to your doorstep? And I'll tell you,
Depends on the choices I want to make for
well,
the kid.
research, there has been research on this, and they quantified it to a number, to over $200,000 a year.
It does not cost $200,000 a year to raise a kid.
Okay,
really
well,
quick on this
well,
point.
science-
Wait. Really quick on this point, and then I'll pass it right back to Andrew. Can you break down the $200,000 for us?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
So imagine right now, food services, right? So breakfast, lunch, and dinner made for two people. And if you have kids, you have to add that as well. If you take kids to school, then that is a personal driver, right?
Well,
The entire time that you take them to school, or you can homeschool. That would make things easier.
Or you just drive them and drop them off at school.
Grocery shopping, which takes time. Grocery shopping, which takes time. Planning out meals, planning out the kids' activities.
We're just describing
which is a
regular human
personal- Which
things.
is a personal assistant.
So a personal assistant, a driver, a chef, what else? A nanny, a house cleaning service, a laundry service, what else? You might as well be an escort at that point, because you're going to have to sleep with your husband. So now you're a prostitute also. Like, none of this makes any sense whatsoever.
Well, no, people get paid for those kinds of things.
Yes,
and
that's
here's
true.
the thing.
Yeah, but
I'm not,
what's
I'm
the
not-
math?
I'm not
Yeah,
advocating.
that's what we want to know.
This is
Because women
something-
will do this
yeah.
thing like, and it's very.
The math is
hold on,
Googleable.
No, but what you'll do is, hold on, what you'll do is you'll take, okay, how much does a professional cleaner make in a year? And maybe that's 30, 40, 50,000, and you're going to tack that on. But professional cleaners are cleaning 40 hours a week. So,
So
you
that's
are
definitely not
considering like, so okay,
calculated.
for example, if you were to hire a professional cleaner once per week, how much would that cost?
Yes.
That might be more attuned
Yes,
to
correct.
right,
I'm
but
going
it's
off of
not.
those
But
numbers.
some
Nannies
people are
aren't
going to
cheap.
some people are going to collapse the entire yearly earnings of all these industries. So okay,
That's not what they did in those studies, though. That's what I'm saying.
That's why I was asking for a breakdown.
Correct.
On
That's
those
not
numbers.
what I'm
So are you also doing the factoring in as to men are doing they're basically unpaid yard work and
No.
they're unpaid executive protection.
What I'm saying-
Does your boyfriend have a firearm?
He does, yes.
Oh, do you have a firearm?
Yes.
Okay.
So-
But would you expect your boyfriend to like protect you in some sort of life-threatening situation?
He can, but we would both be, good with.
Let's say
with
you were
it.
both
They say
disarmed.
a gun is an equalizer, the great equalizer.
Let's say you were.
Are you as
hold on,
equal with
really
this handgun
quick,
as your boyfriend?
Really quick. Let's say you were both disarmed. He obviously, I'm assuming your boyfriend is
Yes.
physically stronger than you.
Yes.
He would fare better trying to take on a physical threat.
Yes.
Right. So you have you have unpaid executive protection.
Yes.
Right. Are you
Do you
factoring
think-
that into the calculus
Yes, correct. And so it has to,
Okay,
and
back
so
to you.
so basically, men are on the same spectrum, and that they have to see if they financially benefit from coming into a partnership with a woman, because a man doesn't need a woman to cook or clean for them, right? You can pay for all those services yourself. The same way that men can pay women, pay a service to cook or clean for them, women can pay somebody to do the yard work for them, or they can pay a ring camera for protection, or they can own a firearm. What I'm trying to say is that I want men and women to come into a relationship together by understanding the value that they both bring to the table.
Yeah,
And
I understand
I understand
what
the
you're saying.
value of men. I think that they work very hard. I think that society could not function with them being in key roles. I think they are biologically a lot stronger. That is a fact, right? And so I'm very thankful for their existence, and we need them. However, women are equally as critical for the different services that they provide and the things that they are good at. And I feel like historically, unfortunately, that has been ignored, and that's why we're seeing this loneliness epidemic between men and women.
Yeah, the loneliness
I just
epidemic
wanna, like-
exists on both sides. That's
Sure.
the first thing. The second thing is
I just want to argue the whole like protection thing too for her, because her partner doesn't have to protect her. That's not his job. But might he want to protect her
Yeah,
so that
that's
he
your
can
role as a man.
continue to look at her pretty face and have her in his life?
Would you
He
want
might.
a would you want a man that
She's
doesn't
not-
automatically protect
might,
you?
might her partner have to
And I
expect?
think that
Well,
one
hang
of
on,
them
hang
is
on.
automatically-
Might her,
No, I'm saying, would you want a man who does not automatically protect you?
No, of course not. But they should
okay.
appreciate me to
might
that
her
degree that they
partner
want to.
might her partner have an expectation then that she mother the kids? Might he have that expectation?
Mothering the kids, yeah, but doing all the deep cleaning of the house and the cooking
Being
of
a
the
mother,
every
and
meal.
let's be a caretaker.
Hang on. Let me
there's
respond
way
to
more work
let me
to it
respond to
than
some of your
just
points
the-
here. The first, there's a bunch of holes in what you said. The first hole is, do you want to outsource your child to other people? Well, then I don't understand. Where does the financial independence thing come in?
So I actually support women that want to be stay-at-home moms.
No, that's
and
not
stay-
my. I'm not
let
asking
me-
who you support.
I know, but let me answer the question
Hang
you
on.
asked
Let
me,
me.
right?
I want to make sure that you understand the question I asked
Go
you.
ahead.
So I'm going to ask you to repeat the question I asked you. The question I'm asking you is: do you want mothers who are at home,
Yes.
to outsource their children? And if you do or don't, how are they able to be financially independent? Can you repeat that for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you believe that women should financially outsource taking care of their kids? And I think that depends on the
What's the
individual.
second part?
And I think that
What's the
depends
second part
on
of the question?
individual. So
the second part.
there's women that want to be full-time mothers and stay at home with their kids, and there's women that want to have a career and also have kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the fact that we're chastising those kinds of women is why, again, we are in this
How
battle
does
of
a
the sexes.
woman maintain financial independence?
Yes.
Meaning, how does she work?
While also
If she stays at home with her kids, how?
Part-time job, a part-time job, or
Are
work
people
from home.
really
I have
criticizing women
A lot
for
of people's
being
jobs
working
are
mothers?
online these days. You guys are saying that most women don't want to work, men wouldn't want to work if they could choose. But personally, it would be my dream to be able to have a family and have the freedom to have my side hustle and have my business. I don't need to work like a dog. I can have it all.
Do you see the massive hole with
can't
that?
have it all.
I don't want to work.
Hang on. Hang on.
I never want to have
You
it.
really can. If you
There's-
work, if you
there's-
were an exception, you could have.
Hang on. One at a time. Calm down.
Look how wide that bitch is. Look at this. From here all the way over to here. I mean, Jesus Christ. You reckon the camera's adding a few pounds? Is that what it is? I've heard Andrew say that these girls, I think Jake Rattlesnake said too, that that these girls don't look nothing like they do when you're in that studio. I can only imagine, like this prostitute here, this prostitute there, this old fatty fat McFatten back here with a nose ring.
Calm down.
One at a time. I think the answer to that is remote work.
There's only been like 2 at a time this whole time.
And that is that is remote work. That is also work that requires being a small amount of time in the office, and you can homeschool.
You can make
so
jewelry.
homeschooling is a great option. I plan to homeschool my kids in the future. That means that you only take 2 to 3 hours a day. Actually, it's not 8 hours like public school, i.e. government indoctrination centers. You take 2 to 3 hours taking care of your kids, educating your kids, instilling the moral
Do you
values
see
that
the
you
new?
want in them.
Do you see the new
And
hole
then
you just made in your ideology, though?
And then you have the rest of the day to
How do you
also
have a
do your
conservative
job, whatever
view?
it is that you
Where do
are
your
passionate
kids go
about,
while you do
right?
your job?
Whatever you're passionate about, and you can bring your kids along.
So the way
to
that
it.
women have financial independence, it is
job
while
allows you
they
to bring your
don't
kids?
outsource the child care is by having part-time remote work. Now, question:
It exists.
does she get to keep all that money, or does that go to the contribution of the household?
I think it should. Yes.
I think it depends
Then,
on the
if that's the
relationship.
case, how is she being financially independent again?
maybe she
Hey,
can
let
have
her
all the
let her
money.
answer.
Because she can still have personal accounts that she only has access to, and you also have joint
So
accounts
that
as
she
well.
so she's keeping the money away from the contribution of the household in a personal account that nobody else has
For her
access
own
to.
self.
I think that every single adult, male and female, should have a prenup, and that should be part of that as well for their own personal protection. But I think overall, the reason for the
So you're
prenup.
advising women to hide money
No,
from the
it's not
household.
hiding.
This.
Is it
Almost
because
most
of the
of them.
prenup?
If she knows all it is about prenups, how does she not understand that?
Real quick.
Before
Raise
we
your
get to
hang
the
on. Real
narcissist.
quick. Raise your hand if you've dated a narcissist. Go ahead. Okay.
Like, how does she not know how prenups work? And that getting married without a prenup is always beneficial for the woman.
Now keep your hands raised if you've
In true
dated a
definition,
narcissist.
though, probably not, but like
Okay.
modern definition.
Now keep your hand raised if they were a diagnosed narcissist or if you okay.
They would have to go to therapy and doctors and
Hang on,
diagnose
stop, stop,
self-help
stop,
and do that
stop.
kind of shit.
I think we're
Were they a
deviating from the
diagnosed
subject here.
Of course
narcissist?
they're not diagnosed. They don't care about their mental
Was yours a
health. They don't
diagnosed
care to fix
narcissist? So
themselves.
one person at the table actually dated a diagnosed narcissist.
Yeah, but okay.
Was he diagnosed?
We're deviating
Okay.
from the subject where I'm just pointing out that it's hypocritical to say that you don't believe women and men should have prenups when you know that you wouldn't advise your daughter to get into a marriage without a prenup with a man. Period. You wouldn't.
No, I literally told you the prenup would be in favor for the man, not for her.
That is not true. So,
It is true.
Somebody's in a
It's
situation with
definitely
money.
true.
Maybe because she doesn't have money to begin with. She
Guys,
does.
so saying that you don't want a prenup is the equivalent of saying that you don't believe that you'll amount to anything in life that will be worth something that somebody else wants to.
Yeah, that's not saying that at all.
Yes, it is.
No, what it's saying is
Yes,
that
it is.
you have
What
faith.
if I-
You have
so-
faith. Okay, so
What if I make more than my husband in the future? And I
What
hope
if you
that I
do?
do, and I hope that he makes more than me. It doesn't.
so you're
really
preparing
matter.
for failure.
No, I'm preparing for.
You're preparing for
both
failure.
Being successful,
Mhm.
and
For
that being
failure.
the case.
You're preparing for failure.
No,
But then why do you need the prenup?
Can we
Because
just answer
I
what if she's
believe in
coming into this
statistics,
situation
and
with
90%
Stop.
statistics, right?
Mhm.
90% of marriages end up in
And who are
divorce.
they mostly initiated by?
Just because, oh my gosh. Well, my
Who are they mostly initiated
my
by?
ex-employer Charlie Kirk answered this question not too long ago when he was on the podcast, or it was on one of his Prove Me Wrongs. And just because women first initiate divorces doesn't mean that men aren't the first ones to start the process or give them a reason to. So that is a completely illogical.
Then how come they don't put as the reason things like irreconcilable differences? They're not putting things like domestic violence, cheating, things like this. They're just putting irreconcilable differences. Your
Okay.
former employer, by the way, Charlie Kirk,
Mhm.
would have completely and totally agreed with me on what
No,
marriage
not on this
was.
subject.
Yes, on
And
this subject too.
verbatim, this can be looked up. Googled.
Okay, so
He does
Charlie
not
Kirk is
believe that.
recommending to his daughters to get a prenuptial agreement.
I don't know. Because
Did he have one with
unfortunately
Erica?
Because he's not here, and I don't know that either.
Yeah, of course not. He didn't.
Come and think about it. I'm gonna look up if Charlie Kirk. Let's see here. Did have a pre oops. Erica. Because I moved the wedding photo with Charlie Kirk. Uh-oh. I don't know what it's pressing, but let's see. Yeah, I don't. Let's see if there's any details. What in the fuck? Is this really Kelly Osbourne? Ooh, Jesus Christ have mercy. Oh my God. Oh, that is. Oh my God. What? Ugh. That is fucking horrible. That is like ungodly. Ugh. Anyways.
Didn't. I guarantee you he didn't.
I hope that you are, not saying things that aren't true. But
I'm pretty
anyways.
confident that Charlie Kirk did not have a prenup with
You
Erica
really
Kirk.
can't speak for him, though.
Correct.
I mean, I can call Jack Prosovic and ask him right now. I bet you he's going to tell him. I bet he would.
That's a dishonor.
That was like his best friend.
That's a very
Wait, can I ask one question?
dishonest take.
Do you think, look in the camera and say that you think that Charlie Kirk had a prenup with Erica Kirk?
I don't know.
Yeah,
whether or
exactly.
not they had a prenup, but
Ridiculous.
This is the honest take.
Yeah,
I don't
Kirk
know,
would,
and neither do you.
so not only that,
Can you
though,
admit
the
that you don't know
problem
for a
problem
fact?
is.
Can you admit that you don't know for a fact?
You can't know it for a
Did he
fact.
have a
But I
prenup?
would say I doubt it. I doubt
Okay,
it.
so you don't know for a fact.
Yeah,
correct?
but I doubt it.
But you don't know for a fact.
I mean, I don't know for a fact that you're who you say you
That's
are.
the point I'm trying to make. Thank
So
you.
there's like a statistical average here. There's going to be some doubt, but I doubt it.
Can I give a
Not only
scenario?
that, let's point this out though. You still have massive holes. You still have massive holes in your logic. And the huge hole in your logic is if you're advising women to not outsource their care, try to get some kind of remote job. What I don't understand is why you're trying to pit the husband and wife against each other though.
not.
Why is it that she doesn't have as much responsibility to the contribution of the household as he does? If he wants to have access to her money, why shouldn't he be allowed to do that?
Let's talk facts and statistics. Statistically speaking, couples that have prenups last longer and don't get divorces. Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't even think that's true actually.
It is, and anybody.
But I
watching
would say
this
it's
can look
likely
this up.
true.
No, it is true. It is
Okay,
true.
I would say it's probably likely true if it is.
true. So why do
Calm
you
down,
think it
ladies,
is?
so I can answer. I
Why
think
do
it
you
would be
think it is?
likely due to wealth, because wealthy people divorce less, and wealthy people are the more likely to get prenups. Therefore, I would say probably the most likely, wealthy people get prenups. Wealthy people are the least. What you're doing is causation correlation.
No.
Because it correlates that people with prenups get divorced less. And it also correlates that people who are wealthy get divorced less. Why should we use your correlate that it's the prenup which prevents them from getting divorced
No, I
rather
just
than the wealth?
presented a fact, which is that those
And
people.
what does that correlate to, though?
It correlates to, and divorce lawyers speak on this, it's the fact that those couples are the ones that have the difficult conversations on money, on lifestyle, and all of those things, and put it down on paper.
Because they have it.
Before they get married.
Because
That's
they
what-
have it.
Because that's what responsible
Yeah,
people
because
do.
they're wealthy.
Because that's what emotionally intelligent people do.
Most people do not have the wealth to even worry about a
Do you
prenup.
think that non-wealthy people don't get prenups?
I am
Not
a
often, no.
wealthy person that got a prenup.
Not often.
There you go.
Well,
She's a non-wealthy
that's nice.
person.
Okay,
that-
yeah.
okay, so
Are women on average shorter than men? Oh, I'm not shorter than
what
most
would you
men.
consider wealthy?
Probably 500,000 plus.
Okay, and that is what percentage of the population?
Very
that
small
has-
percentage.
Very small percentage. But we still have a lot more than 5% of prenups, like 5% of people that get
They
married.
usually correlates with the wealthy.
Yes, but no, we have a lot more prenups than we have
Yeah,
people
but
that qualify
what you would
as
need to
wealthy,
show us,
according to you.
yeah, what you would need to show us though isn't that there's no poor people who get prenups, because that was never the statement. What you need to show us was whether or not it's the case that the correlate here isn't that wealthy people get divorced less because they're wealthy, or it's the case that it's because they have a prenup they're getting divorced less. I would say it's due to the wealth.
Well, I asked asked you what
because
you-
that
I
correlates with
asked you
higher
what you
forms of
think
education.
The correlation was so.
I just told you.
Okay.
It's going to
so-
be wealth and education. Those are the things that correlate with less divorce.
Right.
Can I
So,
ask
but regardless, when you have a
Gotta wait.
prenup,
Just wait.
but regardless, when you have a
Jump in.
prenup, then absolutely, then hold on, because I was like getting a little distracted here. Regardless, if you do have a prenup, then there's a high probability that you stay married. So wouldn't you say it's a good
That's
thing?
not.
Would you say
No,
it's a good
that's
thing for marriage?
you have to demonstrate it's because of the prenup and not because of the other correlates, which would be wealth and education, which are the higher contributing factors for lessening divorce.
So only
Ha- what-
wealthy- you're-
show
you're
me how the correlate of a prenup. Like, do poor people with prenups get divorced less? Can you show that?
I think that those,
Can you
are,
show
those
it,
are the
though?
statistics that you need to
No,
find
you're looking
online.
at an average of all prenups and saying, okay, on average, this has some correlate
I
to
know
a
that
smaller
being
percentage.
wealthy isn't the reason because you just said wealthy
Wealth
to you
is
is
tied-
$500,000 or more,
Mhm.
and I'm telling you that
Yes.
that is what maybe the top 5% of the population,
Mhm.
but a lot more than the top 5% of the population get prenups. Yes or no?
Wealth-
yes or no?
Yes, of course. But
Yes. Okay, so it's
that
not
doesn't
wealth.
make your point.
Yes, it does.
Okay, do you agree with me that on average men are taller than women?
Yes.
Okay, but do you also agree that some women are taller than the average
What
man?
the heck does
Okay,
this
answer
have
my
to do
question.
with
Do you
it?
agree
Yeah,
that?
You're off topic. Can I just
Stop.
Jeez.
See that right there. Yeah, but like, oh my god, she's never been punched in them big old teeth. That's for sure. Like, oh.
Do you agree
You
with
asked
me?
Andrew a question.
Yeah.
He answered it. He asked you a question. Please answer
Do you
his
agree with
question.
me that there are some women, though, who are taller than average men?
Yes.
Does that eliminate the fact that on average, men are taller? Of course not, right?
No.
Okay, so when we're talking about a correlate here, we're going to use the same standard. Do you agree with me that people who have high educations or higher education get divorced less?
Sure, yes.
Okay, do you also agree that there's a correlate between people who have higher education and wealth?
Yes.
Okay, so now we are agreeing that wealthy people and highly educated people get divorced less. Those are also the people most likely to get prenups. Just because other people also get prenups who aren't them doesn't mean that the contributing factor here to the lesser divorce has anything to do with the prenup. Do you understand that now?
I understand what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
I understand what you're saying,
Okay.
and I agree with what you're saying.
Okay.
However,
Yeah.
the point I'm trying to make is that I think it is good for not just rich people to be the ones getting prenups, so that
that's a different
so
argument,
that,
though.
No, that is my original argument, right?
Yeah,
that is what that's the point I've been trying to make.
But you're saying the reason is because that's going to contribute to lesser divorce in
Yes.
people who aren't wealthy.
Yes.
What I'm asking you is to demonstrate that part, not if people who are wealthy and have high education get lesser divorce also have more prenups, but whether or not people who have prenups who aren't in those categories are actually getting divorced less because of the prenup. That's what I want the demonstration of.
Gotcha. I understand what you're saying. So if, again, only top 5% of the population qualifies as wealthy, according to you, and they do get a prenup, and as a result, they
Well,
don't...
hang on, that was off the cuff.
and
Whatever they
don't-
consider
okay,
wealthy
and
to
they
be.
don't get divorced. Cool.
Yeah.
That's great,
As
fantastic,
much.
good for them. Now, for the rest of the population that doesn't qualify as wealthy, according to you, the 500 threshold, it could be more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And they stay married as well. Why do you think that is? Because it's clearly not wealth that's keeping them together. It must be the fact that they are responsible individuals
No,
that get together.
that doesn't
Let me
follow.
finish my thought. Responsible individuals that get together and talk about the reasons why they want to be in a marriage in the first place.
That's not even
where
an
they share
argument.
responsibility. Yes, because if
That's
it's
not even an argument. That doesn't even logically follow. You're just saying, I agree with you, Andrew, that people who have prenups who are also in these high categories for less.
Nobody used to get prenups. And they stayed together for 70, 80 years, 50 years. Like, nobody was getting prenups back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Like, prenups didn't even really come around to be a thing until like the 90s or something like that. And people that was getting married back then, like, they stayed together for forever. So I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Lesser divorce. I agree that those are the contributing factors for the lesser divorce, but I also just assumed that other people who get prenups who aren't in those wealthy or highly educated categories also get divorced less based on I made it up.
No, based on facts.
What's the fact?
People that get prenups don't get divorced.
Okay, but is it because
most
of
of
the
them.
prenup?
No, I don't think
Exactly.
It's because
So
of the
then who
prenup.
cares? How does that make your
So
argument
why is it
then?
a bad thing for people to get it?
Well,
Why are you so against it?
First of all, I'm not against prenups. That's
Okay.
not the point. But I'm not going to let you get away with the argument that just having a prenup is going to lead to lesser divorce. That's not the strong correlate here. The strong correlate is going to be higher education, wealth. Those are the things which usually inspire people to get prenuptial agreements to begin with, and those are already in the categories of people who get divorced less. So if that's the case.
Look, if I
when
got
you say
married-
when you say an auto mechanic gets a prenup with a waitress, right? What part of the prenup is the mass consideration for divorce here? They don't fucking have nothing.
Okay, so
Mechanics
that's
can make a lot of
what
money
you can't
besides disagree
possibly
on
conceptualize, and that's why it is a problem.
And a lot of
the
money
fact
spent on
the
it.
fact that you're
Right.
thinking that those two people, that the waitress and the mechanic, can't make money in the future after
Not
they
saying
get
they
married.
can't.
That is what I'm saying. That's okay. So
one of the
that is
points-
premise that you're saying.
No,
One of the
I'm not.
points she made earlier
I'm saying
is that
if a
prenup-
mechanic and a waitress, they have a prenup,
Yes.
and then like 3 years later they get a divorce,
Okay.
right? But that was, I don't know, on average like a year longer than most people. How would the prenup have done anything with that exactly?
Well, first of all, it's very unlikely that they get divorced in the first place.
Of course,
because of that.
hypothetically, I'm just
No,
saying.
objectively
Okay,
speaking.
but hypothetically, I'm saying.
But hypothetically, right? The good thing is, if they do get a prenup and they do get divorced, is that they set the standards for their divorce instead of some random person in the U.S. government.
Okay,
Isn't
so
that a good enough reason
well,
to? Yes or no? Good enough reason?
No. That's
No,
not a
you
good
want
enough
the
reason for a
government to make the
prenup.
decision
No.
for you.
Well, then why get married?
Why get
married?
Right, guys? Why get married?
Answer my question.
Forget
Get
love.
married.
Forget love.
You can't have love. You can't have love without marriage.
Also
You
reasons.
can't have love without marriage. You can't have children without marriage. You can't have those things without marriage. Why
I'm
get
saying
married
that
at
you
all?
can.
If the whole idea here from you,
There's many
from the
reasons to get
FemCon,
married.
the FemCon idea, don't marry yourself to the state. Get a prenup instead. It's like, okay, well then why get married at all? Can you explain that to me?
Because right now marriage is a legal institution as well. It didn't used to be.
Why
right?
do so? That's the same thing you're advising a
So
prenup
since
for.
it is, you're denying reality, which is that marriage is a legal concept.
Why do they even need to get married at all then?
You're
so
legally married
arguing now
after.
against marriage. Is that the case?
How is that me arguing instead of asking you a question? What's the difference between a question and an argument?
You just said why get married
Are
at all?
questions arguments?
Questions are not.
Y'all are
arguments.
stating
Great.
opinions.
So then I asked you a question.
And having a
That's the
debate.
opposite of an argument. The question is, why get married at all then?
Why get married at all? Because you want somebody to witness your life. Because you want a life partner. Because of love. Because that is
Okay.
what creates healthy, intelligent children that
Security.
can see parents that are in a healthy relationship that love each other. There's so many benefits to marriage, and I want people to get married.
So help me out here.
But you're not helping the cause. That's why I'm here.
This is so. Hang on. Well, I'm glad you're here. This is so strange. Tell me any of those things that you just listed that you can't have absent marriage.
Absent of marriage, because you don't have commitment. You don't
Yeah,
have.
why not?
Because you don't. Nothing says I choose you and I'm committed to the person.
Like a prenup.
It's a
other
security
than marriage.
commitment.
Nothing says I choose you like a prenup. Nothing says
I'd like to
but
know
Pikachu, I choose you.
Here's a
Here's the reality of marriage.
Stop,
Divorce
stop,
happens.
stop,
No, why can't
stop.
she speak?
I'm about to allow you to speak, but I was trying to actually open it up to the whole panel here for a moment.
Sorry, Zaddy.
That's what. Yeah, but you guys, let me get it in here. We have a chat coming through, then I'll have you guys weigh in.
Flavia Sassinis is
You
donated
gotta be on the.
$200. Accuse the feminist dresses like a 304. Typical.
Great.
Do you want to respond to that really quick?
If this is dressed like that, then that is your
Maybe
qualifier.
just move the mic back.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do. We do have a lot
This
of
is
people.
why you're
Stop.
watching the show and are single.
We're like 10 minutes away from
Family
finishing
friendly,
this. I just
304
want to
you
finish
are.
in like 10 minutes.
Go ahead.
We do have other people on the panel. Is
I
the
know,
thing,
I
and I need
know.
to be considerate. So here's what I'll do. You guys can finish that conversation, but those of you who've been listening and want to weigh in on something, now's your opportunity if you'd like to weigh in.
Okay, I have like two things I want to say,
Okay, go
and
ahead.
it just doesn't have anything to do with the prenup. My thing is that women's jobs are easier now than they have ever been in the household as a mother, as a caretaker. We have washing machines. We don't have to go to the quarry and rub our clothes on rocks anymore. So that's why women got bored and wanted to move into the workforce. So that's a technological issue. And then second of all,
But I'm gonna see what's going on. In the old news, real quick. Let's see if there's. Oh, she keeps getting. 52 minutes ago. Let's see what's live right now. Let's see what they got going on.
Do they have a thing on this map? Can't do that. Do they have a thing on this map like top viewed voyages or voyages in distress? I'm using this marine traffic website, but it's like, I don't know. Areas of interest. Oh, you gotta pay for this shit too now. Allah. Allah. Nancy, Pakistan.
Nothing going on. Let's see what's going on Fox real quick.
Panel is back with us. And Aaron, let me come to you first. It strikes me that being given a leadership role in Iran right now is somewhat akin to be given a leadership role in Hamas post October 7th. It seems to be a death sentence.
Well, if you announce the next leader of the IRGC or whoever's going to be commanding the leadership during this interim period, I think it's a mistake. I think it's posturing. I think here's where I'm at with this. I think the IRGC has to signal that they're in control. Nothing has really been affected. Never mind the fact that hundreds, if not a couple of thousand targets have been hit over the last 24 hours. So they're playing the game. They're trying to save face. They're trying to show that we're in control. But really, at the end of the day, the softening that's happening right now systematically across Iran, Esfahan, Shiraz, Tehran, is literally shifting the paradigm for this potential regime to collapse within potentially a week to 72 hours. Who knows what's going to happen here? But I think it's just posturing.
Lisa, what's your gut on the way that what remains of the Islamic Republic leadership behaves here? Does your gut tell you, as an Iranian American, that they try to cling to power, or does your gut tell you that they will, as Aaron the
Not a whole lot going on. Well, I'm gonna close it out, go to bed. Maybe I get up and do a little stream and see what if anything news going on. So, well, see y'all later. Maybe tomorrow, well, today, a little bit later on, after I've got some rest. Got a little gardening to do. And then I might hop on, see what's going on. Leave me a like. Subscribe. Probably going to be trying to do this nightly, every other night. I don't know. As much as I can, though. So, I'm going to be reacting to some stuff, trying to keep up with the news. Just do a little bit of everything. So, y'all have a good morning. Go eat some breakfast. Y'all go do something.